sun had just begun to set, casting a warm golden glow over the small house at the end of Oak Street. The day had been long, but it was finally winding down, and the Smith family was gathered around the dinner table as they had been every evening for years. There was Thomas, the father, a man whose face was etched with the marks of hard work and time, but whose eyes still sparkled with youthful energy when he spoke of his family. His wife, Rebecca, sat beside him, her hair slightly graying at the temples, but still radiating warmth and strength. Their children, Emma and Jake, were seated across from them, bickering playfully as they always did. Emma, 16, with her sharp wit and fierce independence, and Jake, 12, with his boundless curiosity and eagerness to please. Despite their differences, there was one thing that united them: the undeniable love they shared for one another. Dinner was always an event in the Smith household, not just because of the food, but because it was their time to reconnect after the chaos of the day. Thomas worked as a mechanic at the local auto shop, while Rebecca was a nurse at the nearby hospital. Both jobs demanded long hours, but they made it a point to be together each evening. It was a tradition they cherished. As they sat down to eat, the familiar scent of Rebecca's homemade lasagna filled the air. Emma, who had been scrolling through her phone, looked up and smiled at the sight. "You're the best, Mom," she said, reaching for a piece of garlic bread. "Glad you think so," Rebecca replied with a wink. "It's all in the sauce, you know." Jake, his face smeared with tomato sauce from his first bite, chimed in. "Mom, this is the best lasagna ever. Can you make it every night?" Rebecca laughed softly. "I wish I had the time to make it every night, buddy, but I'll try to keep it a regular thing." Thomas raised his glass in a quiet toast. "To family," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "To family," they all echoed in unison, and the clinking of glasses was a sound that resonated in their hearts. The conversation turned to their day. Jake excitedly recounted his adventures at school, telling them about his latest science project and his new fascination with space. Emma, rolling her eyes but with a smile on her face, teased him about his enthusiasm. "You and your space obsession. Do you think we'll ever live on Mars?" Jake's eyes lit up. "Why not? I bet we could do it. I just need to figure out how to make a rocket first." Thomas laughed, shaking his head. "Maybe you'll be the one to take us there, Jake." The family continued to talk and laugh as the evening wore on. Thomas asked about Emma's history test, and she, in turn, asked about her father's day at work. They were simple questions, but they held weight, each one a small thread that wove them together, creating a tapestry of shared moments. Later, after the dishes were cleared and the evening began to settle into a comfortable silence, Rebecca and Thomas sat together on the couch, Emma curled up with a book in the corner and Jake engrossed in his latest toy. The house was quiet, save for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional crackle of the fireplace. "Do you ever think about how lucky we are?" Rebecca asked softly, her voice almost lost in the stillness. Thomas looked at her, his hand reaching for hers. "Every day," he replied. "We've had our struggles, but we've made it through them, and we've got each other. That's what matters." Rebecca smiled, leaning into him. "I'm just glad we have this time together." And it was true. They had faced challenges. There had been hard times when bills piled up, when tempers flared, and when their patience was tested. But through it all, they had remained a family. It was a bond that no hardship could break, no matter how tough things got. Their love, built on years of shared experiences, was unshakable. The sound of Emma's voice interrupted the silence. "I don't know what the future holds, but I know this. I'll always come back to this table. No matter where I go or what I do, this will always be home." Thomas and Rebecca exchanged a knowing glance. They both understood the truth in Emma's words. The world outside might change, but the heart of their family would remain the same. It was in the quiet dinners, the laughter, the shared stories, and even the disagreements that made them stronger. As the night drew to a close, and one by one, the family members began to head to their rooms, the house felt peaceful. The Smiths were a family bound by love, not just in the easy moments, but in the hard ones too. And as they went to bed that night, each of them carried a sense of belonging, knowing that no matter what happened in the world outside, they would always have each other. Home wasn't just the house they lived in, it was the people they loved, and no matter where life took them, they would always be a family.